Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. I want to take a moment to tell you all about my next singer-songwriter storytelling showcase happening February 11th in Chesterfield, Missouri at Naked Vine. And I will be bringing along Justin Johnson, Hal Pascal of Cherokee Moon, and Stephen Woolley. Again, that's Tuesday, February 11th. Naked Vine, 7 p.m., $10 at the door to get you in. And if you haven't been, this is an intimate show. 3 writers sitting on stools, sharing their stories behind their songs, playing acoustic, and it's a whole lot of fun. So come on out and join us out there. And if you haven't been to Naked Vine, you're really missing out. It's this hidden gem out in Chesterfield, calling it the best city bar in the county. Serving up all kinds of wine, whiskey, tequila, and local craft beers, and all sorts of great live entertainment happening out there on Thursday nights now. They are doing a vinyl spin, so join them out there, bring along some of your favorite records, and be a part of that. And then on Friday, January 24th, Diesel Island returns, and Saturday, January 25th, Nick Barbary Band. Hope I'm saying that right. You can find all details and more at nakedvine.net. Be sure to follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you're gonna have a real good time out there, so check it out. Also want to say a quick thank you to Heil Sound for their support. Visit heilsound.com today. Recording this intro on my new PR4D microphone. Been really loving this mic and having a lot of fun with it. So check out heilsound.com today. Also, big thank you to Roughneck Beard Company and American Rambler, located in Maplewood, Missouri. They'll have all your fine beard products, anything you really need for grooming. You got your junk powder, you can get your beard balms, you can get your all sorts of different products. They got beard oils infused with CBD products and infused with coffee. I mean, whatever you're into, you can probably find it over there at Roughneck Beard Company. You can visit the shop again, as I said, Maplewood on Manchester, or you can shop 24/7 at roughneckbeardcompany.com. Use my code RPP15 for an exclusive 15% off during checkout. Again, roughneckbeardcompany.com or americanrambler.com. And you can follow both of those companies on Facebook and Instagram. Get involved with them. So that's it for me, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thanks for keeping up with all the shows, keep up with all my sponsors. That's how we keep the show free. So show them some love. If you're interested, I do have hats. I have t-shirts, new stocking caps on the way. And if you guys want to reach out and say hey, or tell me what you're listening to, anything, feel free to reach me at rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. That's it for me, everybody. Sit back, relax, enjoy the new episode.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hey, everybody. This is Haley Woolbright, and you are listening to the Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
This is beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats is a Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
Double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Haley Woolbright. welcome to the show.
Thank you. Excited.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm glad to be hanging here with you. We got a lot to talk about. This is our first time really hanging, and that's what's fun about doing this show for me. And I've said it, several hundred times probably now. That's what I love about doing this show. Is I continue to meet new artists and are new to me artists in town, and getting to share some of their stories and songs. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, totally.
I'd like to start with a congratulations.
Thank you.
Being that you are recently engaged, and that's very exciting.
Yes, November was a big month. Engagement, album release.
All right.
It was a big month.
Yeah, very cool though. It's that's exciting. September we celebrated 5 years marriage. So
very cool.
Yeah, it was. So I've been there. It's an exciting time.
It is.
Stuff, so.
It is.
But yeah, and then dropping a record and stuff. That's even makes it even cooler. Everything hitting at once.
Right. It was a lot. November was prepping for the album release and finishing up the record, and then tempted to just start wedding planning and all that because we're getting married in September. So it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah. Well, take me back before we get too far into the record. I want to get to know a little bit more about Haley, and I guess have you always been around the St. Louis area, or you?
Yep. Yeah. Born and raised here, grown up here.
And then what about music wise? When do you really kind of find that this is something you want to pursue? Is it
right? No, music came a little more untraditionally for me because I don't really have any musicians in my family at all.
Yeah.
I've got 8 siblings, and out of all of them, none of them play instruments. I had a few that tried growing up, but just got stuck in piano lessons or whatever. My parents aren't really none of them are musicians, so I don't know. I always I grew up just loving music, and we had my dad had a friend growing up who I think he's technically my godfather, but he he would come over when we were really little, and he played classical guitar, and so he'd bring over his guitar and just kind of play for us. And at one point I remember he left with us this little acoustic guitar, and it was it was missing 3 strings. But I was obsessed with it, and I would always just play around with it. Pluck the other 3 strings that were on it. And I always was just beating on everything. I loved anywhere I would go that had instruments. I would just play with them. I had a friend that his dad is in a band, Jake's Leg.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And so I'd go over to their house, and they had instruments everywhere. And so, I didn't know how to play them, but I would pluck around on the guitar and make things up. And I always had a good sense of rhythm. And so I remember really young, maybe 7 or 8, I wanted to learn how to play drums. And so it must have been for a birthday present or something, but I had a kid drum kit in our basement growing up forever. And so, I would be down there for hours. I wasn't in lessons or anything, but I would, play around on that all the time. And just, I don't know, I loved music. Mm-hmm. It was fascinating to me and instruments, but for some reason I just was never taking lessons. And then probably in 7th, 8th grade, my parents put me in drum lessons actually, which was cool. It was a place called Rock School, I think. I don't know. I don't even know if they're still around, but it was super cool. But I took lessons on a full kit, and I loved it, and it was a blast. And that was kind of my first love in music was drums for sure, starting out as a drummer. And then I was super into sports, so that kind of took up a lot of my time. And so I think I was only in drum lessons for maybe a year, and then it just kind of phased out because I, busy with sports and whatnot. But
what was that? What'd you sports-wise? What'd you play?
Yeah. Oh gosh. As a kid, I played pretty much everything under the sun at some point. That was what I did growing up. That was I was an athlete. That's all I did. So, in high school, I played tennis and basketball and lacrosse. Those were my sports in high school. But I played soccer. I played softball. I did taekwondo for a little bit. I played volleyball for a little bit. I did a little bit of everything. That was what I loved to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, I loved music, but I didn't have any time. I wasn't in lessons doing anything. So it wasn't really, it was kind of something on the back burner that I just had an interest in. And then when I was, 17, I think, I really wanted to learn how to play an instrument, like guitar or ukulele or something. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll start small with the ukulele. And so, because, all I did was sports all the time, I was like, I want to have something else to do in my free time that I do on my own. And I didn't take lessons. I just, I saved up some babysitting money, and I lived in Webster Groves. I grew up there. So I remember riding my bike down to David's Guitar Loft when I had enough money, and I bought a little ukulele. And I spent every weekend just teaching myself how to play it. YouTube, looking up. I bought a book while I was there, and I just became obsessed with it. I loved teaching myself how to do it, and you get out what you put in. So I would just practice, and I loved it. And about a year of learning how to play ukulele, I was like, okay, I'm gonna save up and buy a guitar now. So again, I bought a cheapo guitar, and again, I would get home. When I wasn't playing sports, I was teaching myself how to play it. I would lock myself in my room for the whole weekend, and my fingers were all red, and getting
Sure.
just building the calluses. But I loved it. But I wasn't interested in taking lessons because I just liked teaching myself and using resources online and books, and just kind of doing my own thing. And I never really learned how to play piano, but we always had a piano in the house, so I would just make up my own things because I didn't know how to read music. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of made up my own symbols on how to, if somebody looked at it, they'd be like, what the heck is this? But I knew exactly what
Sure.
it was on what to play on piano and whatnot. And so, but when I learned how to play guitar, I really got into it. And I'd always loved writing. I was a writer, that was my strong suit. And I really liked poetry. And so I found just playing guitar kind of boring. I was like, I want to sing too. And so I just kind of would sing in my bedroom, was super low-key embarrassed about it. So I would only do it when no one was home. But I loved writing. And I was like, well, poetry and songwriting are kind of similar, right? So I kind of started morphing some poems I had written and just journal entries I had written, and it would have it on a piece of paper, and I would start making stuff up on the guitar, and then would just start singing and making up melodies to what I had written. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I would tweak the words to then make a chorus and verses and a bridge and all that. And so that was kind of what opened the floodgates for me a little bit was songwriting. And it came very natural to me, pairing it with guitar and singing at the same time, just doing all that. And I loved it.
And this is high school?
Yeah, I was 17, 18, so junior, senior in high school.
Okay.
But it was a total secret. No one knew because I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh no, I probably suck. I'm horrible. No one can know this. And, I just would sing, but I was like, I'm probably not any good, whatever. Which I wasn't, you have to learn how to do that. But, yeah, that's what I did. And it was kind of my secret hobby. And I would write a bunch of songs. And it's funny, if I look back at them now, if I find old notebooks, they're terrible. They're not good at all. I could probably still play them maybe from memory, but they're not very good. But I liked it. And that's what I did. And it was great for me. It's very therapeutic, songwriting.
What are you writing about?
At the time, I was writing about boys.
Sure. Yeah.
Feelings. I don't know. Honestly, I would just write about anything. I remember one time I wrote high school, wrote a song about coffee shops. I just was I was sitting there, supposed to be doing homework, but writing songs. And that's what I found myself doing a lot. And especially when I got to college, I'd be sitting in class, supposed to be taking notes, but I was writing songs, during class. So a lot of my songs were written during, meteorology class or something random like that. So yeah, again, I got to college and I would wait for my roommates to leave so that I could play guitar and sing and write songs. And it wasn't till I don't know, I guess I was going into Christmas break 3 years ago. So, I think I was a junior in college, maybe?
Yeah.
I can't really remember. I think I was 21.
Sure.
I'm 24 now, so 3 years ago, math. But, yeah, I just was starting to get fed up because I shared my songs and some playing with a few people, and they were like, oh, it's really good, and I started just getting antsy. So I was like, what is the point of having all these songs if they're just going to live in this notebook forever? And my dream, I always, like, when I grew up, I did the classic, like, sing in the mirror to yourself, like lip sync with like my deodorant as like a microphone, and I always thought it would be the coolest thing to just be a performer, like be a rock star, like Guitar Hero, huge for me. That's how I loved Guitar Hero. That was like my 4 minutes to be a rock star in front of my siblings and cousins and friends when they come over. And I was like, man, but I had the worst stage fright. Like, even giving a 2-minute PowerPoint presentation, I was like, I'm going to throw up. Like, there's no way. So I was like, when pigs fly, I will be on a stage singing my own music, playing and whatever. But Christmas break comes along, and I'm like, I am so sick and tired of this. The only thing holding me back is, like, myself. Like, I'm just so afraid. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to look for an open mic, and I'm not going to tell anybody. And I'm just going to go do it and then tell people I did it. And
right.
And it was the Wolf in Baldwin is the one I picked. And long story short, I went out there and I was like, I'll sing a cover. I think I did a John Mayer song because he's my favorite. I was like, I'll get people hooked, and then maybe I'll just try an original just because screw it. Let's do it. Who cares? I could suck. Let's do it. And I sang an original, and people liked it. And I remember being terrified. I mean, I was looking for excuses to leave right before, but as soon as I did it, I was like, why was that? That was awesome. That was so fun. And I mean, that's kind of, I just like, it was like addicting. I started going to open mics like a couple nights a week, and I loved it. And it, getting positive feedback helped too, because I started writing more, and I started wanting to like work on my singing and guitar playing, but that's kind of what, it's kind of the journey.
Well, it seems like open mic is always a welcoming atmosphere too. Like the whole premise of that is get out there, try something new, experiment. There, even pros go there and do but they're not going to play their hits. They're going to play something an idea they're working on or whatever.
Right, something they wrote this morning.
Right.
No, open mics are great. Like they're one of my favorite things to go to because, one, it's a great way to just meet people. Mm-hmm. And open mics have so many hidden talents, like hidden gems at them. People that, are too afraid, and so they show up and they're like, this is my first time ever playing in front of people, and then they just totally bring the house down. And you're like, what? Yeah. Why aren't you on tour somewhere, But yeah, no, open mics are great because, I mean, that's where I like to try out songs that I just wrote, or maybe songs that aren't even all the way done, but I'm like, I'm just going to go for it because everybody's so welcoming, because people are just like, do the originals, like I mean, covers are great, but any open mic I've ever gone to, people always push originals for sure.
So what, do you have any tips to getting over that stage fright that you was just get out there and doing it? And like, how do you psych yourself up to not, not fall into giving up on it and stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was my biggest hurdle for sure.
Right.
Because it was something I always wanted to do. And I was practicing, kind of building like a catalog of songs essentially. But honestly, I mean, people have asked me that. And honestly, it took, I was like fed up with myself, really. I mean, I was fed up with like being afraid. And I just had to do it. Like, you just have to literally, whether that's you don't tell anybody. That's why I didn't want to tell anybody, because I was like, I just am going to do this on my own.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I am. And so, I don't know. I had to drive there, and I had to like literally force myself to not leave. And you just have to, you get to a point where you're just like, screw it. Like, you just have to kind of be like, whatever happens. Like, you know, what do I have to lose?
Sure.
And I just did it. And then it's so funny. Like, I mean, I bet most people will find like it wasn't.
Yeah.
You build it up in your head. And don't get me wrong, I was very well rehearsed. I mean, I did not even think about doing the open mic. Like, once I decided to do it, I practiced for like 2 weeks straight, because I was like, okay, I have to be on it. I can't forget the lyrics, you know. But I mean, whatever you got to do to get yourself hyped up, and just go for it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's not much you can lose.
I say the same advice. A lot of people ask me about doing a podcast, and I'm like, buy a mic and do it. Like, I mean, that's all it is like,
Right.
Find a buddy, start recording, whatever you're passionate about, and start, put it out there.
Yeah.
I read a great quote on Facebook the other day. It was like, don't be afraid to suck at something new. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like,
Right.
I mean, just because it's something new and scary, don't be afraid to try it though. Like, get out there and we all, like I said earlier too, we all start somewhere. Everybody sucked one day.
Right. You're not going to start off amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I tell people, I'm like, it's like my biggest fear turned into my biggest passion.
Right.
But there's no way I would have known that unless you did it. And it's kind of like you said, like a podcast, whether it's music, whether it's writing, comedy, whatever it is, like just go for it.
Yep.
Like, okay, if you suck, well, try again.
Well, let's talk about some of your songwriting. You like I said, you've been working at this for a while, and we got a brand new record, and this is your first major project.
Full length. Yeah. I've worked on this for 2 years now.
Yeah,
I'd say.
And then let's give them a little sneak peek at some of your songwriting. This is the track 1 on there called Boxcar, kicking off this brand new album. And anything we need to know about Boxcar?
Boxcar, that was a fun one to write. But I mean, it came out of nowhere, really. I legitimately got the idea because I was stuck behind a train. Mm-hmm. It was late at night, and where I lived in Webster, it's like I live on the other side of these train tracks. So I was coming home late at night, and I got stuck. And so I was just sitting there, and I feel like this train took forever. And as I was sitting there, I happened to be I was going through just a really hard time at that time, and I'm just sitting there watching this train go by, and that's kind of what gave me the idea about it. Like, I wasn't looking to write a song about a boxcar. Like, this train had a bunch of boxcars on it, and I was just very much comparing it to what I was going through, and that's kind of how I got it. Been stowed away on this boxcar for quite some time. We plan to ride it all the way from Maine to Anaheim. But things change and people do too. My company's gone. I could choose to step off and make my way back home, or I could choose to keep moving on. My time is come and gone. Maybe I'll stay my welcome, but I've outgrown this boxcar, and I'm headed down the rails. I'm headed down the rails again. For months on end I've been traveling along for the ride. Colored the Smokies, braved the Rockies, and rolled the hills of the countryside. But things change and people do too. This freight train has run its course. I'm still gonna make it out west, so I'll hop on a new line with no remorse. My time is come and gone. Maybe I'll stay my welcome, but I've outgrown this boxcar, and I'm headed down the rails. I'm headed down the rails again. I've seen so much beauty from inside this boxcar, but I'm headed down the rails again and moving on. My time is come and gone. Maybe I'll say my welcome, but I've outgrown this boxcar. My time is come
this boxcar, and I'm headed down the rails. I'm headed down the rails again. I'm headed down the rails again. I'm headed down the rails again inside this boxcar.
I think that's it's a definitely fun story. I think there's a lot of relatability in there. We all kind of get in those moments where we, rather be anywhere but here sometimes, wherever that train's going to take us and stuff.
Right.
And but I think ultimately, and I'm sure you will feel the same, but like there's times where you're going through life and you think that your hometown is like the worst place and you want to go anywhere, go to the coast or whatever. But then it's like, as more and more as I get older and I realize like St. Louis, there's a lot of really cool stuff here and I really like it here. And I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to go visit somewhere maybe for a while, but like ultimately I think I'd end up right back here anyway.
Right.
So
No, St. Louis is amazing. I'm such a fan of St. Louis. Anything St. Louis, I love.
Yeah.
I love. It's a great city.
But yeah, Boxcar, really great tune. This again available digitally everywhere, wherever you're getting music today. You can head over to HaleyWoolbrightmusic.com and you can purchase a copy of the physical CD through the website, or you said just message you or anything, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever
if you want a physical CD, I made those for fun. DM me, go to the website. I'll ship it to you. Other than that, you can stream it on your streaming platform of choice,
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Music, whatever.
or come pick up one at any of the shows. And
Yes, I always have them on me.
And we have one date on the calendar we want to tell you about coming up January 31st. You will be at Rendezvous Cafe in O'Fallon, Missouri, and that'll be 7 to 10 that evening. And
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
So a lot of them are just you solo acoustic, but you're working on putting together.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So before this album came out, I mean, the past 3 years I've been playing gigs, just me and my acoustic guitar, which is great, but I knew once this album came out, I wanted to kind of amp it up a little bit, just because I wanted it to reflect more of what the tracks sound like on the album. On the album, the tracks are full band sound, and so I wanted to still keep it intimate, but be able to have more elements to it. So right now, that's what I've been working on, putting together kind of like a 3-piece band. I've got a guy who's drumming for me now, and we've got a bass player, and so at Rendezvous, if you guys come out, it'll be more of a 3-piece thing, just kind of a stripped down versions of what you hear on the album, which will be cool.
Yeah,
so,
very nice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the release party night. That I guess you had I wasn't able to make it, but I guess you had a band with you that evening. And
Yep. Yeah, that was. What a blast that was.
Yeah.
That was more than I could have imagined it was going to be. All the guys that recorded on the album came together, and we all played as a full band, which was super fun. Because I hadn't really gotten the chance to play like with a full band before, because everything I did had to just be acoustic because it was just me. So it was a great time. We had Chris Turnbaugh, who I recorded with him at Sawhorse Studios. He co-produced it with me. He played bass on the album. Then he played bass at he mixed it. He recorded it, all that. But yeah, he played bass that night, and then we had Rob Lee on drums. He's incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible. He was awesome, and he recorded drums on the album. We had Ryan Duffy, my buddy. He played electric guitar that night, and he played on the album. And then keys, we had Matt Galick that night at the release show. We got him kind of 2 weeks before the show, which was awesome because originally Nick Schlater recorded keys for the album, which was awesome, but he wasn't able to make it that night. So we had another local guy, Matt Galick, who killed it. And and then me obviously on acoustic and singing. So it was a total blast.
Yeah.
Total blast.
I don't know some of the other guys, but Chris and Rob are good buddies. Been following them around for a long time now, and big fan of what those two do.
Right.
But yeah, Chris is the man. He's a really talented engineer in the studio, and
He's awesome.
Yep.
I wanted to, kind of shout out to him a little bit because the whole process with Chris was an interesting one because essentially, I'd written all, 12 of these tracks, and I was looking to record them and kind of get a full band sound, but really I just had the bare bones of these songs acoustically. And I came across Chris, and I decided, I was like, hey, I basically brought to him like these demos of just these acoustic songs. I was like, this is what I have. I want to fill these out. I want to make these full band, and I want to record this and make this album. Can you help me? And he essentially, he went above and beyond. He basically, helped me fill out these songs. He brought in Rob Lee. He brought in Nick Schlater. He got these guys to come in. And he pre-production, we kind of sat down and we listened to these demos together, just me and him in his like studio at his house. And we basically filled this whole thing out. He was like, okay, I think this would be great with drums. I think we need to bring in this and that. And he helped me just like with that vision. He just took it and ran with it, which was awesome. And he produced it to the fullest meaning. And he helped me take it from nothing to something, and, recorded, super talented, engineered it, all that, played bass on it. And then, this would not have been possible without Chris. So he's talented and he's awesome. And anybody looking to record, or, maybe a singer-songwriter that doesn't really have a band, but you're wanting to, figure out how to fill this out to record, go to Chris, because he did an awesome job and took it from the ground and birthed it, basically.
Right. Yeah, big shout out to Chris Turnbaugh and Sawhorse Studios. I've been over there myself. I did a podcast a while back over there with Jason McIntyre and Preston. Blanking on Preston's last name, but they also record over there, and it was like super cool just to kind of just be in there. It's just a very welcoming atmosphere, and they, all kinds of cool gear around too and stuff. So it's just, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, reach out to them. They do a lot of incredible work over there in that studio. So
They do.
Let's drop in another one. We did this one live acoustic here in the living room. So this is sort of maybe what you presented to Chris. Sort of this is what it's the vibe that kind of just you in your bedroom writing these good songs and stuff. And that's kind of why I like doing this kind of stuff. Like,
right.
I love the record, obviously, and I like the produced versions of. But it's hard to beat just a singer and a guitar, and like it's just a.
Right.
I really love that sound. So this is a song called Blue Eyes. Also appears on the record Hindsight, available now.
I saw you standing there outside that little cafe. You looked me in the eye and it took my breath away. Oh, blue eyes, your voice was so sweet. I may never see your face again, but you'll be my song on repeat. Blue eyes, you have me at hello. Blue eyes, you really have to go. Blue eyes. I'll never forget those few hours of bliss. Strolling the streets under the lights, your smile is what I'll miss. so far away. Take a load off, take your feet up, and do your favor and just stay. Blue eyes, you had me at hello. Blue eyes, do you really have to go? We spoke the same language, our minds were in sync. Match made in heaven, you were gone in a blink. Blue eyes, you had me at hello. Blue eyes, do you really have to go? Blue eyes, you had me at hello. Blue eyes, do you really have to go? Blue eyes, oh blue eyes.
What about what do you want to tell us about Blue Eyes, Haley?
Yeah, Blue Eyes, that's people always want to know, like, who are you talking about? Like, who is Blue Eyes? You know, and it's tempting to just be like, oh, I don't know, I can't
Sure.
tell you, because people always want to know. But really, that song came from, I don't know, a couple years ago. Somebody had reached out to me, a singer-songwriter in Memphis, Tennessee, and gosh, if he listens to this, he'll probably know it's about him. I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. Screw it. But yeah, he had reached out to me because he found me on Reverb Nation, and he was coming to St. Louis to play some shows, kind of like a weekend tour thing. And he reached out to me because he liked my sound, and he kind of he messaged me and asked, some recommendations on where to play and whatnot. And so we kind of got in contact. And so when he came in town, I met him. And we actually ended up playing a show together. We got it, really quick on a Saturday night at Webster Grove's Garden Cafe. But we kind of just got to hang out the whole weekend while he was here. And I went to his gigs, and we played a gig together. And we really hit it off. And so I think I definitely had like a little crush going on there. Because we really got along, and we had a lot in common, and it was super fun. But he lived in Memphis, and I live here, and after that weekend, he took off and went back to Memphis. But I wrote that song like very shortly after he left, because it was just very much you meet someone and you totally hit it off and you click. But then that's about it. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Right.
And so actually, yeah, until now, no one I've never really disclosed what that's about. But it's so far gone now. It doesn't really matter, but that's kind of how I got Blue Eyes. So it's definitely one of those admiring from afar kind of songs.
Nice. You so yeah, you can find Hindsight again digitally everywhere. HaleyWoolbrightmusic.com. Pick up. You can hear the full band version of Blue Eyes on there. And but I got a couple of questions I wanted to ask. I've been having fun asking these.
Yeah.
There's more, we get a little more personality from you, just because these are silly questions. Do you have a dream duet or collaboration?
Ooh. Dream. I mean, if we're dreaming, we might as well go big, right? I mean, I love Casey Musgraves. Female-wise, yeah, Casey Musgraves is, I mean, if I could meet her and collab with her one day, I mean, that would be incredible. But also, I love John Mayer.
Yeah.
He is my, like, all-time favorite artist. I mean, the day that I collabed with John Mayer, that would be a crazy day. But I'd say, yeah.
Well, I believe in self-fulfilled prophecy, so hopefully we'll put it out there and see what happens.
Right, yeah. Casey, John, if you're listening,
Yeah,
I mean,
they are big fans of the show, so
right,
so-
hit me up. Go to my website. Go to that contact page, and let's get something together.
Let's make it happen. That would be really cool. I mean, I talk about Mayer a lot just because I'm a fan, but I also I just admire the fact that he's done like literally everything.
I mean,
and he's good at all of it, and he continues to maintain a fan base even when he's gone from pop, country, blues, Grateful Dead. I mean, whatever,
Right.
it's like he's doing it all. And
right. He's incredible. I think he's gonna go down as one of the greatest guitarists of our generation for sure. I think he's gonna be up there.
and he's funny too.
He's hilarious.
He did. I've seen him like on Chappelle's show and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, and
He's got his own little talk show he does on Instagram Live called
Right.
Current Mood. I mean, it is funny.
Yep. So, was there a song you wish you wrote?
Yes, that one's easy. It's ironically by Casey Musgraves off her Golden Hour album, that Grammy-winning album. Fantastic, but the first song on that album is called Slow Burn. Probably one of my favorite songs ever. I always play it in my sets at my gigs, but every time I listen to that song, I'm like, I wish I wrote that. Like, if I could have a song that was like Slow Burn, I'd be golden.
Yeah. It is. Is it because you just connect to it, or is it like you feel like this is your story at times? Or?
I definitely connect lyric wise. I love the idea of like a slow burn, like whether that's if you think of that in like as a candle, just like slowly, that wax goes down, and just kind of taking your time on things, letting slow down for a second and just enjoy whatever it is in life. We're always running so fast all the time. And everybody's always, everything's go, go, go. And I love that she's just kind of, it's a very mellow sounding song too, which goes with the idea of it. But just lyrically, I think it is brilliant. And the vibe very much is, when I play it in my gigs, if people don't know who she is, they'll ask if it's an original, because it very much, I think, is the kind of sound that like I go for when I'm writing songs. So that's why I wish I wrote it.
Yeah. I love that when you hear a song and you can connect to it, like they're almost telling your story,
Right.
And that's such a fun moment as a fan too. Like, so, and that's really great to hear too, that your sound enough to where you just sprinkle some other people, covers in, and people still think it's yours. Like, that, I think that's the key to it. Like, if you're going to do a cover, put it, make it your own in a sense of where people don't even know the difference.
Right.
So,
I'm always super flattered. I'm like, no, I wish I wrote it,
Yeah.
but
right. Let's. Do you do any celebrity impressions?
oh gosh. Do I do any? I'm a horrible impressionist.
Yeah.
Any accent I try and do sounds the same. Sounds awful.
Right.
I don't know if I do any celebrity impressions.
All right. All my impressions wind up being impressions of somebody else is doing, like somebody else's version of it.
Right.
But yeah. Is there a movie or TV show you wish you were in?
Ooh.
And this could be like replacing somebody or
Right.
joining a cast or something like that.
I've got to go with The Office.
Yeah.
Because that's my all-time favorite show. And I very much, I very much in real life, in situations when someone said something really cringy or weird, I will definitely be that weird person who looks across the room at an imaginary camera, and makes that Jim Halper face for sure. I don't know if I would replace anybody. I'd love to be in that show. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's I was like totally binging it on Netflix for a long time, like doing 3 or 4 episodes a night or something, whatever it was, and for a couple weeks, and I'd blaze through a few seasons, and then I just, not that I got burnt out, but I just took a break, and then I just recently came back to it and finishing up the series, and just cracking up. It's definitely one of my favorite shows, and
Right.
the writing and the characters are so good, and but that's what's so the beauty of that show. And there's others too, like even like Office Space, where it's again about an office, but it's like those characters are all real people. Like you meet,
Right.
if you've ever worked in an office or
Right.
like those people and stuff. And,
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Yeah, no, I've gotten a glimpse of that in just work environments
Right.
I've been in. I'm like, oh my gosh, that person is definitely Michael
Yeah.
Scott.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a classic for sure. What's your strangest fear?
Ooh, strangest fear. I mean, I always tell people my biggest fears are sharks and heights. Used to be talking in front of people, singing, but that's obviously gone. I don't know. Those aren't really strange, though.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to think.
If it was a shark up in the sky, then that would be really.
Yeah, that'd be pretty strange. I will say, every time I get into my car at night, I'm always terrified that there's someone hiding in my backseat.
Yeah, I get that.
I'll definitely do like a swipe.
Sure.
Like I'll before I get in my car at night, I'll either look in the window or I'll get in my car and I'll definitely look back there.
All right. I always like hitting my my unlock button and stuff before I get there, just so it lights up my car and make sure that like there's.
That's smart.
So there's see if there's anybody in there and stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's, I don't know if that's strange, but that's what I've got.
Yeah. I think that's just all these crazy shows and movies and stuff
Right.
like you make you scared of all
Or
that.
stories you hear on the news.
Right.
Just crazy things that people do.
What's a song that always gets stuck in your head? And that might be Slow Burn too, but do you have another one that...
One that gets stuck in my head a lot. I'm trying to think. I feel like my roommates would be the best people to ask because, things that I'm just randomly singing around here.
Sure.
I'd say, I don't know, what's the song called? They say, man, I feel like a woman.
Oh, yeah, Shania?
Yeah, Shania Twain. Yeah, I don't know why, but that one pops into my head a lot. That's definitely like a shower song that I'll sing a lot.
Right.
And I'm not even a big Shania fan, but I mean I don't know, that song I'll just kind of randomly just break out into a lot.
Yeah. What's something you tried but will never do again?
Oh. Never tried and will never do again. I mean, a lot of those things have to do with heights for
Right.
sure. Like I've ziplined before.
That's it. That's all I need. One time.
Yeah, I don't know. I ziplined in Costa Rica and it was very high. It was like this is like so like extra, but I mean, it was like over a volcano. And I was very much like, that was super cool, but I would never do that again. Like
Right.
it was insanely scary because I'm like, if I fall, like there's no chance of living.
Right.
There's no chance of living. I was like, I don't know if it was more scary than cool. Like, I don't know. That's probably it.
Yeah. That probably all probably be it for me too if I had that story. That seems pretty intense.
Yeah, no, these are good questions.
Well, that's I think that's it for the question segment, though. I've been having fun with those because, like, actually, to be honest, I a lot of those are from Ellen. She does the burning questions segment, and
Love her.
and they always made me laugh. And I'm like, I'm gonna start asking some of those. And
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that.
and they're good, like to open-ended kind of thing where they start other conversations and stuff too. So it's interesting to where they go with it after. When you ask them and stuff. So, but anyway, let's drop in one more song. This is again on Hindsight, and this song is called "Found a Home in You." And anything you want to tell us about this one, Haley?
This one's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's really the only love song on the album. And if you listen to most of the album, you'll realize a lot of this is about a breakup. And a lot of these songs are kind of about, you know, a relationship, a past relationship, but that's the one song that I wrote during that said relationship. So, you know, it's very much an authentic, like, was in love at the time, and I really wanted to capture what that felt like, but I didn't want to write like a really cheesy sounding, like with cheesy chords, like acoustic sounding love song. I very much am very inspired by like old soul and jazzy kind of things, and like I love Etta James and like Aretha Franklin and people like that, and so I very much wanted to add kind of like a funky jazzy feel to it, and so that's kind of what I got with that song.
Yeah, nice.
When it rains, we all want a roof to run under, somewhere to keep us dry in a warm embrace. If we run away, we just want someone to wonder. A missing puzzle piece always has its place. My heart has found home in you. The truth has set me free. We're meant to be. I'm so in love with you and the things you do. My heart has found a home in you. I was lost, but now I'm found in your eyes. You are mine and I am yours. It's so sweet. Before you, I wasn't afraid of goodbyes. But now you're the reason that my heart beats. My heart has found home in you. The truth has set me free. We're meant to be. I'm so in love with you and the things you do. My heart has found a home in you. You and me, always together, make each other better. You and me, always together, making each other better. My heart has found a home in you. The truth has set me free. We're meant to be. I'm so in love with you and the things you do. My heart has found a home in you. My heart has found a home in you. My heart has found a home in you.
I feel like that's probably the most common inspiring songs and stuff is heartbreak or falling in love. You know,
Yes.
that heightened state of emotion where you're just like, it all starts pouring out of you. Like, yeah, whether it's one or the other. I mean, there's definitely a lot of other topics, but I wonder how many songs or records have
gosh.
been inspired by by that.
I mean, probably every record in some capacity
Sure,
is
yeah.
inspired by it. And not every song on this album is inspired by that. It definitely write about other things, but there's a good majority of it that is about that. But and that's people. It sounds weird, but sometimes people are like, do you regret said relationship or something? I'm like, no. I mean, I got an album out of it. I mean,
Right.
and, there's more you get out of
Sure.
it, but definitely that. And now I'm engaged, and people are like, okay, so is the next album going to be like a bunch of love songs?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I find love songs harder to write than like heartbreak songs, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why there's like one on the album. But that's in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's and it's also tricky to write something that's not
Already
but,
done.
Right. There's so many great ones already out there.
Right.
That's my problem. Like, I have a bucket list sort of goal to write music and stuff. I don't know that I'll ever sing it because I just don't see that happening. But I don't know. I think it'd be fun to write and have somebody else record a song or something like
Right.
that. And but I feel like that's my problem is whenever I get to sit down and like actually think about like, okay, I'm going to try to put pen to paper and make it happen. It's like everybody else's lyrics just come out of my head.
Right,
like, 'cause
exactly.
I listen to so much music every day.
No, it's hard. It's hard. Writer's block is a real thing.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So what do you want to do with this? Is now we got this big full length record out there and stuff. I mean, what's next?
Right.
Kicking off 2020. You got some big goals you want to?
Yeah, 2020. I mean, besides getting married in 2020,
Yeah.
I anticipate it being a big year. I mean, I want it to be a big year. Coming off this release. I have big goals for it. Like I said, just for live things, I've been putting together like more of a 3-4 piece band. To play, because the majority of the gigs I play are more like smaller venue, coffee shops, wine bars. I really this summer I really want to try and get into that winery scene and book gigs like that. And I don't know, I kind of my biggest goal with it is just play more shows. Get that out there, get that record, outside of St. Louis too.
Right.
Just get it to be heard by a lot of people. And my big thing is too, I love hearing when people relate to it.
Sure.
That's a big goal of it too. But I really just want to play more shows. And, I'm trying to, find a booking agent right now. 'Cause I do all the booking myself the past 3 years. And, it's getting to a point where, there's only so many connections and people, and, so,
Yeah.
booking agents out there listening right now, if you need somebody to represent, I am available. Definitely. But that's kind of my plan.
You mentioned like Casey and even John Mayer and stuff, and like some of these. Is there any goals to like get into Nashville and try to do any like that kind of stuff? I mean, like you don't necessarily have. I feel like you don't have like a true like Nashville sound.
No.
But I feel like songwriting down there is huge. I mean, so I feel like even regardless of the sound of this record, your lyrics as a
Right.
songwriter would still go over
Yeah,
well.
it could be adapted.
Right.
Yeah, no, I've been asked that a lot. And, I don't know if I have, the dreams of moving there necessarily, but
I just think it'd be fun to go for a weekend and
right, no, that's exactly right. And that's another big goal of 2020. I want to get out of St. Louis a little bit too. I want to play a lot more, weekend gigs where it's out of town a little bit and kind of spread that influence. But songwriting wise, I love songwriting. I love performing too, performing my own stuff, but I would love in the future to kind of get into the songwriting kind of circle in Nashville and, write songs for people and just kind of get into that world too, get connected.
I heard Chris Stapleton on Stern Show a while back, and he was kind of got into his story and stuff, and he talked about that, like that he got into it kind of a little late, but he was like learned that songwriting was a career path, and he's like, all right, yeah, I'll do that. And so he like started writing songs, and then all of a sudden, like he's got like hit after hit, all these number
Right.
ones. Like, I mean, it's crazy before he even made it as a performer, he was writing all these hits and like for everybody. And then now he's, selling out
himself, too.
amphitheaters everywhere and stuff. Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's crazy. A lot of your favorite songs you hear on the radio and artists, like, you don't realize how many of them didn't actually write that song, that hit song. And if you research and look into it, like a different art, like think of Ed Sheeran. I mean, Ed Sheeran's huge on his own.
Right.
He sells out arenas and he writes his own songs, but then there's a lot of songs by other huge artists that he wrote for them. You have no idea, but I always say songwriters are the unsung heroes of the music industry for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they make it possible, and so it would definitely be a dream come true to like write a hit song for somebody someday. Or
Yeah. I just think like I got a bunch of friends down there in Nashville, and like again, like not that you couldn't do it here, but just that there's just a strong community there. It seems like of songwriters and just like-minded individuals, and that's all they want to do is collaborate and write songs with other people and stuff, and see what see what happens.
Yeah, it's a different world. It's a fun place to visit, and so I definitely would, if the opportunity ever came up to kind of get into that sort. I mean, I would love it
for sure. Well, very cool, Haley. This has been a ton of fun getting to hang and getting to talk for a while. Again, everybody, please go visit Haley Woolbright Music on your Facebook and Instagram, HaleyWoolbrightMusic.com. You can find Hindsight everywhere you're getting music at. Pick up a physical copy at any of the shows. January 31st at Rendezvous Cafe in O'Fallon, Missouri. You can come on over there. It's a nice little intimate room. Nice come in, grab some dinner or a cup of coffee and have a nice time.
I know they have great cheesecake there.
Yeah.
Wine bar at night. So if you're into that sort of thing, come on out.
Yep. Yeah, I've been to, actually, I don't know if I've ever seen music, but they do some comedy
okay.
over there in the like back room kind of thing. And
Right.
so anyway, it's always a good time over there.
Awesome.
But thank you again. And I
thanks
hope
for having
hopefully
me
we
on.
can do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.